I've been wanting to paint my table. I got given it when I moved into this house from my mum. We didn't want to spend loads on furniture. I've actually sanded it down, and that was because I wanted to see what colour the wood was. It was actually really, really dark. It actually took me about 8 hours, so I was out in the garden all day with an electric sander. So I definitely couldn't have sanded this table down by hand. And I really like the colour that it's come out. However, I do want to paint the legs, and I wasn't sure what colour to do them. I did think at first I'd quite like a turquoise as an accent for the room, or a mustard, but I actually think I chickened out and I'm going to play it safe and just go with a white. I went to Homebase and B&Q, and I was just going to I settled on I think it's a new paper, Dulux, called Made by Me. So they've obviously tapped into that market of everyone wanting to do some shabby chic restoration and you know, second-hand furniture. However, when I got it home, I sort of changed my mind because it was quite a pure white, and I thought, oh, I wasn't sure if it was going to be too shiny and make the furniture look a bit cheap. And then my mum told me about this other paint where you don't actually have to prepare the surface, so you don't actually have to spend all that time sanding down, and you can paint on fabric, metal, wood, and basically anything. Then you just wax it afterwards to seal that paint in. It's called Annie Sloan, if you've not heard of it. You can't get this from major, like, big high street retailers. Annie is actually British. I think she might live in North France. She's got a little shop, independent shop in Oxford, I believe, and she likes to sell it to independent stores because they're a bit more personal. A lot of them give workshops on the paint because there's so much you can do with this. Though the colour range, there's not hundreds and hundreds of colours, so it makes it easy to pick a colour. You can do so much with it. You can put a base colour on first, then your final colour, and then sand it off so that a different colour comes through. You can mix colours together to create your own colour. Because it's not actually chalk paint, it's just called chalk paint for the consistency and how it feels once it's painted. But you can add water to it, to change the thickness. You can open the tin and leave it to thicken the paint up. There's so much you can do with this paint. I'm yet to try it, so I thought I'd document it now and show you what it turns out like. But I looked at loads of other YouTube videos and on the actual Annie Sloan website and everything, so I'm very excited. I've chosen a colour called Old White. So on the tin it kind of looks more of a creamier colour, just to take that sharpness off. I thought it might look better on the legs. So I'm going to paint the legs first, and I want them to be pure, like the purest colour of this. I'm not going to mix it with water or anything. And then I'm going to decide what to do with the top. I don't know whether to paint the top like the legs, or maybe do like a lime wash, I think it's called. So I might paint it and then remove it with a cloth, just so it sets into the grain. I think it's one of those things, don't be scared, just give it a go, and anyone can do it. What I said before, once you've painted it and like what you've done, you can then wax it. Now Annie does this is the soft wax that I've chosen, but she also does a darker wax, and the darker wax, when you put it on, is good for like all the corners, to make it look like old French, sort of English French traditional furniture. But I've just gone for the clear one, the soft one, because I didn't want to darken it. And also this helps seal in the paint, but it can also help to bring some of the original woodwork through afterwards as well. So that's what I'll be doing afterwards. And of course I bought my Annie Sloan paintbrush. Now I don't think you actually need it, but I thought while I was there I might as well go the whole hog and splash out on a paintbrush. I think that's it. Wish me luck. So here goes. It's already looking quite like a bright white, so I'm glad I didn't go for the pure white. I did and ah with the Paris grey. I did wonder whether that would look a nice colour as well. Another thing about this paint is it's eco-friendly, I believe, and it doesn't give off any toxins. Obviously when I put it right up to my nose I can smell a little bit, but it's not a strong smell like most paints as well, and I believe you can use this for walls. So yeah, so far so good. Right, now for the other three. I've painted all 4 legs now, just the one coat. I think it's looking better already, but I've decided I'll probably do another coat just on the legs because it's showing some of the wood through, and I've decided on my legs I want them to be more of like a solid white. So yeah, one more coat. Apparently it takes about 20 minutes to dry, so I just need to leave it for a little while and then the second coat can go on. And as you'll see when I do the lime wash, I'm really not leaving the paint on the wood for that long. It's quite a fast process. So obviously it's quick drying paint anyway. You don't need to be neat with this at all. It's literally about getting it on and wiping it off with a dry towel as fast as possible. So I'm probably taking a little bit longer than I have on the others on this, only because I'm talking to you guys. I'm applying quite a bit of pressure just because I want to take as much paint off, but obviously it's up to you. It's whatever your preference and style is. And I again chose to do this on this part of the table just because when I sanded it down I really loved the contrast in the wood, lighter colour with the darker bit left from when it was painted before. I think that bit's done. Right, so I decided not to keep the like sort of lime wash, whitewash look because although I really liked the effect, I thought in this lounge I didn't feel like it really went with the style that I was going for. So I decided to paint the rest of it like the bottom of the legs, but for the time being I want to keep the top as natural as possible because I felt like maybe it would look a little bit too white if I did a whitewash on top or painted it solid white, and the fact that I spent so many hours sanding it down to get it to this like beautiful natural wood effect, I think it would be a bit of a shame to cover it up now. So I'm going to give it a go and use the Annie Sloan soft wax, which is clear, and you can use this on furniture and walls. Obviously you're sort of meant to put it on the paint afterwards to help seal it and for then it to become water resistant, but I'm just going to put it on to the top of the table first. Now obviously when I painted I did the legs first, and I would normally do that, however I've just given the tabletop a light sand again because I noticed there are a few sort of grease marks where we've had food or drinks and things on it, and I didn't want that to keep happening, so I thought I'd rather do the top now while I gave it a quick sand earlier, and then it can be protected, and then I'll crack on with the legs. So here goes. I've been told the wax does come on a bit darker when you do it on the paint, but then it dries. I ran out of time yesterday because I popped out, so I ran out of time just to wax the painted bits. So I want to seal that in so then the whole piece becomes waterproof in case, you know, because obviously we'll have drinks on it, any spillages or anything like that, it's now water resistant. So just grab a paintbrush or cloth and start applying it. And again it's in the same motion as when you were painting. Obviously it's not actually made from chalk, as I said before, it's just what Annie called it because it was to describe the texture. So before the wax it has quite a chalky matte texture, and then the wax sort of softens it a little. So I'm basically going all the way round, so I won't bore you and show you myself doing this. And then once you've waxed the top, I'll just quickly show you. You get an old cloth, make sure it's clean and dry, and just rub that, you sort of buff the wax and sometimes this will show some of the wood through depending how many coats you've done, or you can apply a different colour of paint before and then put your final coat on so that when you rub you get to see like a different colour. So I could have done a nice turquoise underneath maybe. And that's basically it, that will be sealed now. Once you've done this, I've decided for the time being I'm not going to sand through to show you know, the natural wood or anything to give it that worn look. I've decided to keep it crisp for the time being, but basically if you want to do that and you want to sand down certain areas of your newly painted furniture, you must do it after you waxed. So once you've sealed the paint in, then you can go around with a light sandpaper, and I would advise to do it on, start with corners that would be the areas that would naturally wear away. So on drawers, always the corners, you know, the edge here on my table, and like all like these bits, all the edges, because that's what would naturally wear away and you'd brush past and things. So with time that's what would go. And then once you've done that and you like the look, you could be a bit more daring and start just sanding down flatter areas, or like the front of a drawer. And I think that sometimes is when it's quite nice to have a different colour underneath as well. And I've really enjoyed sort of upcycling this coffee table. It looks so different now, and it's sort of brought it up to a bit more up to date and fits in now with my lounge, because I was debating whether to actually part with it or not. But I'm going to keep it now because I'm quite happy with what I've done. I definitely recommend using the Annie Sloan products. I didn't actually buy one of the wax brushes. I probably would for next time if I was to do something again, upcycle something else. But I would stick to this paint now, and knowing that you don't have to sort of sand or prepare the work surface before, you can just go ahead and paint. It saves so much time, and if we're being honest, no one likes to prepare or sand. It's the painting that we all enjoy. So I'll definitely be buying it again. I'll pop some photos up at the end just so you can see the before and after. And also when I waxed the top of the table with it, it has changed the colour of the natural wood ever so slightly, but I'm really happy with the results. So thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll be back doing some more.